right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Student Life Talks podcast. This is the podcast for first-year students to let you guys know about our events and services here on campus. My name is Sam. I'm one of the digital content creators for Student Life and Orientation. And today is all about careers and advising. So this is for any of you folks who want to learn more about who you can talk to on campus that are going to give you advice on your career goals and career path or in your academic path as well. And I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Tina. I'm the co-host for this episode. I'm the digital content creator for Humber North First Year Experience. And we're here with a very special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Anisah. I'm a career support peer at Advising and Career Services.
Nice.
Awesome. So first of all, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your program?
Yeah, so I'm currently in the Bachelor's of Creative Advertising program at Humber Lakeshore campus. I'm going to be entering my final year of the program starting in September, so super exciting.
What kind of services does Advising and Career Center offer for students?
Yeah, so Advising and Career Services are kind of broken down into two sections. We have our academic office. So we have our academic advisors who help students if they want to drop their program, if they want to drop a course, if they want to transfer into another program. You can meet with your academic advisors. There are specific ones for specific faculties. So here at Lakeshore, we have about 4 faculties, so we have about 4 different advisors. And you can just find your advisor on our website at humber.ca/career services. And then we also have our career advisors. So those advisors are the same as your academic advisors. They'll help with, future career planning, planning, what you want to do after Humber, just kind of like some career steps in your future. And then we have career support peers, or CSPs, which is what I do in Advising and Career Services. So we'll help with resume reviews. We'll review your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, and we'll also do mock interviews with students. So yeah, this is just a little bit.
Very nice.
What is what's a typical sort of student that comes to you and what's that like?
So typically students will come in mainly for resumes. So when you come in with your resume, you can either choose to do an in-person or virtual appointment, depending on which one you choose. It may be on Microsoft Teams or just in our office. And so when you come in, we'll just go step by step through your resume, through each section, just kind of reviewing what you've written there, your bullet points, your headers, how the format is, just give you some tips on how to improve it. And then you can always book another appointment with us once you've improved your resume, and we can go over it again.
I know that you guys also help with LinkedIn. Is that correct? Do you guys also help set that up, or is that a separate thing?
Yeah, so for LinkedIn, when booking an appointment with a career support peer for your LinkedIn profile, we do ask that you have it already set up and just do what you know into your LinkedIn. And then when you meet with us, we can review it as well, give you some tips and pointers on how to improve your about section, your headline. We also do LinkedIn headshots sometimes with the PMAs. So it's just another service that we offer in our department. But with LinkedIn reviews, just kind of having a rough outline of a LinkedIn profile is good enough to come in with, and will help you improve it and build your LinkedIn. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So what's the difference between a CSP and an advisor? What do they do?
Yeah. So an advisor is more for future career planning and your courses in your program. So if you're having difficulty in any of your programs, if you want to drop anything or switch into anything, you would meet with them. And then they're more for future career planning. So the future steps you want to take in your career, with your program that you've done at Humber, they'll do that. With CSPs, it's strictly just reviewing your documents. So reviewing your resumes, your cover letters, also conducting mock interviews for you, and then reviewing your LinkedIn as well. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And the advisors can also give you some academic help as well if you need redirection in your program?
Yeah, so they can say you don't know where to go like after Humber and like you want to do another program. You can always speak with them and they'll speak through some options that you can go into, and maybe some transfer options you can go into as well, and they'll help you with that.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've talked to a transfer advisor before as well, and an advisor.
Yeah.
But they're very helpful for if you don't know what you want to do, if you're in a program that maybe isn't quite for you, but you want to switch into something that's related. So carry on those skills, but just to figure out your options. And they can be really helpful and really, especially if you're really stressed, very good at sort of calming you down and letting you know the options that you have.
Sorry. Yeah, for sure.
So definitely worth checking out if you're worried about your programs.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And I guess another question would be, do you have any personal experience or personal experience or experiences with students that would sort of highlight the importance, just having worked in careers?
Yeah, so with my personal experience with students, we do see a lot of international students who are looking for part-time work in Canada. So with that, and so with international students, most of them don't know the Canadian resume format. So it's a good way for them to come in, learn that format, because it could vary depending on which country they've come from. And then also with like domestic students and international students as well, a lot of them come in when they're ready to go out to their internships. So when they're ready to do those, we'll help review their resumes as well, help tailor cover letters. Even if they're going for internship interviews, we can help with some interview questions to help them practice, get their nerves settled, and just make them more prepared for when they go out to the interviews. Yeah.
Very
And
nice.
another thing I was going to talk about was Career Connect.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you want to explain a little about what that is?
Yeah, so Humber actually has a job portal. It's called Humber Career Connect. In there, all Humber on-campus jobs are posted. The only exception may be Ignite because they have their own job portal. But with that, any and all students can look into it. You just log in with your My Humber credentials. And you have on-campus jobs, like I said. There's also some co-op and internship opportunities there. There'll also be some work outside of Humber, depending on what field you're into. So when you first log in, they kind of ask for your interests. So once you put that in, it kind of caters those jobs towards what you've put in. Say you're in advertising, you want more media jobs. They'll cater those jobs to you in your job portal. So, yeah.
And it also caters to your faculty, right?
Yeah. So when you log in again, you have to plug in all your information. So it caters it all towards, it's catered towards each person. It's really personal in that sense. So, yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
very nice.
Yeah.
You talked about some LinkedIn headshots and stuff. Is there any other workshops or events that careers would host for students to kind of help them out?
Yeah, so we actually do a couple different workshops. We do a resume writing and cover letter writing workshop. We do an interview workshop, and we also do a LinkedIn workshop. All of those workshops are free for students to attend. You just have to go onto our website, kind of sign up, and then you'll be able to get the link to it. And then once you get that link, you can join in the workshop. And it's just a 45 minutes, an hour presentation on whatever topic we're presenting about. So whether it be resumes, cover letters, like I said, interviews or LinkedIn's and stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Is this CCR certified?
Yeah.
Okay.
So once you've attended 4 workshops, you get it added to your CCR or 4 services of advising and career services.
Nice.
Do you want to explain what CCR is for the first years you don't know?
Sure. Okay, so CCR is your co-curricular record. It's basically a record of all the ways that you've been involved on the campus. So whether that's workshops or like a job that you might have or volunteering, it kind of gets added onto that. And it's something that you can submit with your resume and have like as an additional document that shows that, you know, like you've really contributed at your time at Humber, and it helps with getting jobs and stuff. So it's really great.
Yeah.
So if you're involved and you go to workshops, like it's really good for you to put that on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, sorry.
sorry. You can access them online. What's the website? Humber.
I think it's through My Humber now.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you go through My Humber under student, and it should be under there, and then you can submit them and they get reviewed.
Awesome.
I think there's also a time period where you have to submit them as well. I'm not quite sure what that is, but
yeah, I think there's a certain time period for
yeah.
them. But yeah, it's a great tool that Humber provides for students. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, if you're looking to find the Career Center, if you're at Lakeshore, it's in the Welcome Building on the first floor. That's the big glass building on the corner once you get in Kipling and Lakeshore. And at North, it is also the first floor in the LRC.
Yeah, it's like you can't miss it. It's right beside Starbucks.
Yeah, they're both right beside Starbucks.
Exactly.
Oh, are
yeah.
they?
I feel
I'm
like
a
that's
North
on
student,
purpose.
so I wouldn't know for Lakeshore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Nice. Is there any services or anything we haven't talked about? One thing actually is the resume builder. I think it's new.
Devant.
Yeah.
Yes.
oh, what? I've never heard of this.
So it's a new thing that Advising and Career Services came out with. It's an AI tool called Devant. So I think the website is devant.ca/Humber, something along the lines of that. But even if you just search up Devant Humber in Google, you'll be able to find it.
It's also on the first page of the careers website.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it should be there as well. And it's just a way that you can put in your resume, and it'll give you, it's basically like the job that the CSP does. It'll just give you some tips and tricks on what to do. And then once you put it in there, you can also just still come and meet with us, and we'll review it as well for you. But yeah.
Wow, the power of AI. Wow.
yeah, it is. I used it once. It's very helpful. You just input all your experiences, and then you can do a bunch of different formats at the end.
Yeah.
But it'll just make you a bunch of resumes, and especially if you need to make a lot of different ones for different job applications, it's pretty helpful.
Yeah, those are sometimes brutal. Like
Yeah.
when you go on the job hunt and you're like applying to a bajillion jobs, and you're just like, okay, this one wants this skill. Let me redo my entire resume for this skill. Like it gets so tedious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
it's
it's
nice to hear that
definitely
they have
hard
that.
to tailor stuff sometimes. But then we can also like help with that, like tell
Yeah.
you what sections to tailor, just so it's easier for you, so you don't have to make multiple different resumes for each job that you're applying for, because it can get very tedious for you.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel like mostly what I do is I'll have like a creative resume, and then I'll kind of just copy it and then change the cover letter. But it's like changing it slightly every time, but it takes a long time.
Yeah, because then you're like, okay, you have to go through like the job description and like,
Yeah.
well, you guys help with that, which is real nice. But like going through that job description, be like, okay, like this, they want this and this and this. How can I put this in my resume?
Yeah.
So the fact that someone's there to support you to do that is so helpful. But
Yeah, for
also
sure.
like writing cover letters, man, I hate writing those. Like,
It's definitely a hard thing to do. But
yeah, because it's like, how do I market myself
Yeah.
to make you hire me? Like, how do I convince you that, yeah, I'm the best candidate for this job? So
Yep.
it's great to hear that there's support in that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you done many mock interviews?
So for me, I've only done a couple of them. They're not as popular with students because they kind of are unaware of that service that we provide. But with mock interviews, we actually have like a list of the programs that we offer at like Lakeshore in particular, and we have specific questions for each program. So it's kind of catered in that sense. Like say you're in, let's just take me for example, say you're in Bachelor's of Creative Advertising, like I'll have specific questions about, you know, some things that you've done in your program, things that you could possibly do in work, and ask you those questions, and it just kind of helps you prepare for those interviews, especially for internships that most programs have here at Humber. So yeah.
Nice.
I feel like being one of those people, I feel like most people think they're better at interviews than they are.
Yeah.
Like I definitely, a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'm just going to wing it. It'll be fine. And then I realize I'm not prepared.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Or on the other hand, like I'll prepare for it and I'll be like, they'll send me like a curveball question. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to answer this?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you feel like sometimes we see students who are too over prepared where they memorize their answers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's something you don't really want to do because then it makes you sound more robotic when you go into those interviews.
Right.
You want it to be very organic and natural in that kind of sense. So it just kind of helps like ease that curve and ease that nervousness that you have.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're not just getting hired for your skills. You're just getting hired based on your people skills and
Yeah.
like how you talk to people. So like being like very like memorized and like very robotic, as you said, it's not going to really help with that because they're going to be like, okay, but how do you communicate?
Yeah.
You know? So like there's more that goes to it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's really good that they can practice that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great tool.
Yeah.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
So is it just for students or can alumni also do this?
So with alumni, we have career coaches. So our career
Oh.
coaches are essentially similar to CSPs. They're kind of a mix of CSPs and advisors in a sense, because they kind of help with more career planning, your resumes, your cover letters, and they'll do mock interviews as well for you. But with those career coaches, they're only for alumni students, so current students can't use them. And they mainly work in the evenings just to cater
Okay.
to more alumni schedules with their work or whatever they may have going on. Yeah.
How do you book with them? Because it's just through the same website?
Yeah, so just through our website as well. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see, I think it's called evening services or one-on-one services. That's where you can look in it. And then also under the alumni, like page header kind of thing. If you click on that, you'll be able to find their services as well.
That's nice. It's nice
Yeah.
to know that I'm supported after I graduate too.
Yeah.
Because I
And-
feel like everyone freaks out after they graduate. They're like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah, and they provide those up till 5 years after you graduate. So you
Oh,
still have some
wow.
time. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, that's really nice. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, for alumni, there's also I think it's older, but they were trying to launch this thing called 10,000 Coffees.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I did hear something
yeah.
about that. But
And
I'm
it's
not too
it's
sure.
kind of like a portal where you can sign up as an alumni or a student and talk to people
Yeah.
in your program or recent alumni. Yeah, but I think it's like pretty new. I think they're trying to work on it because I talked to the alumni people the other day and they were saying they're trying to work on it. But it's like a space. It's kind of like LinkedIn where you make a profile, but it's just Humber people and you can just contact. You can just chat with alumni.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of different people do like alumni panels. Like I know last year FYE did one too.
Yeah.
Which is really nice because then you can just like talk to someone who's graduated from your faculty or program and kind of see what it's like. But it's nice to know that there's something like that, like a
Yeah.
direct, like you can do it directly. You don't have to go through like a different like person.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's nice.
It's good to know that if you have alumni like connected with you because then, they can make connection, like you make the connection, but they can also find people who might be valuable to them. Mm-hmm. Like I think there was an alumni panel that my friend was on. He was in 4th year last year and he met an alumni, and she was looking for an intern. So like I contacted her and it was like, yeah, it's just a good way to network.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a really good way to find out about jobs too, especially in your field.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
they're always looking for people. Yeah, for sure.
That's really nice. My program like has like a Humber Discord server.
Oh, yeah.
So like I know some programs do that too, and they sometimes post jobs in there, and I'm like, oh, like it's nice to see that the alumni here get like lots of jobs and stuff. Like
Yeah.
good to know that we're like well known in the industry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, it's also like they've been through what you're about to go through.
Yeah.
So I feel like even if you don't get a job, like just asking someone or like reaching out on LinkedIn and being like, hey, like, how did you go from being a Humber student to having a career? And then, they might like you and
Yeah.
hire you, but
Especially
if
for like
not-
the creative programs, like a lot of the times to get a job, you need a portfolio or like a demo reel.
Yeah.
And having someone who's graduated and had to make a bunch of those and put one together and then get a job, like look at your demo reel or your portfolio already is such like a huge step up because like they know like what worked for them, what didn't work for them. And it's just like kind of like more insight and more connections. Plus, if they see and they're like, oh, this person's really good at this. My job's hiring for this. You know, like it's
a correlation. Though.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it's most programs, but a lot of programs have a work placement. So mine actually does this summer. That's what I'm doing right now. But yeah, a lot of programs have a work integrated learning placement where you have to go and find a placement outside of Humber to complete your hours. So like Career Connect can help with that because that's where I found my internship. But I guess that might be a little unrelated to careers because it's like.
Yeah, just like we do help students with like, preparing for those internships. But like in terms of finding it, the one tool we recommend for students is Career Connect. But then the other tool would be like your placement advisor. They're the ones who kind of help with your internships a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess also talking to them or even talking to like a career advisor, you could even talk to them because you may be in a program where your internship could be a lot of different things. So you may want to talk to someone about, what do I actually want to try out in the industry, in my industry? And yeah, like where's it going to take me at the end? And a lot of people will find an internship that might lead to a job after graduation as well. So
yeah, that's true as well.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like, don't stress too much about your internship. Like if you get an internship and it's not necessarily what you want, like at least you're learning that from the internship.
At least you're still in like your industry, you're getting your feet wet. That kind of thing is really good. Yeah. And you're still networking because you're working with all these people who still work in your industry. So
yeah, definitely.
Also kind of off topic, but like kind of on topic. Another thing is like a lot of people are scared to try to get jobs within their industry when they're still a student.
Yeah.
Like I'm going into my 3rd year and I got a job in my industry this summer and I was so scared, but like the person who told me to like actually think about it was Linda. She did what you do, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, why wouldn't you even consider that? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm a student. She's like, well, you can still try.
Yeah.
So like that's also another thing. Like you don't have to have an internship or a co-op to work in your field. You can still try.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. It's always good to try and like find jobs in your industry because then you always are getting like that more experience and all that.
Wait, I actually have a question related to this. Yeah. Do you guys also do like any workshops on like portfolios or no?
So we don't do any workshops on portfolios yet.
Okay.
But it could be something that we have in the future. So yeah.
Okay. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because portfolios, like I have a portfolio and I would have wished to have like a workshop to like kind of learn how to do it because you're kind of on your own with that, right? Because it's like, what do I put in there?
Yeah,
like,
it's such like a broad.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, how many pieces do you put in? And like, your professors are like, no, don't put in like 6, put in 8. And then someone else is telling you put in 3. And like, you're like, okay, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it though.
Yeah, it's so complicated.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so another thing with resumes and recruiters, so recruiters will really only look at your resume for about 6 seconds before deciding to give you an interview or not. So it's really good to have the format of it and like your resume just looking like really clean and organized, because if it's not organized and they can't find, say, like your experience section easily, they're going to move on to the next person. Like
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. But that also makes sense because like if I'm like looking at something and I'm like have to like really like focus hard to try and find something that I'm looking for, I'm going to not look.
Yeah.
Like I'm lazy. I'm gonna not look.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think I got this from Careers because I had like an appointment with, yeah. Anyways, so they told me that like on your resume, like if we should try and keep it like as short as possible, so like 1 page, and then like it's only like the most like relevant stuff that you keep on there, and then like your entire like work history and like everything you've done you can put on your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So that's why like I don't know if you're still supposed to do this, but like you can put the link to your LinkedIn.
Yeah, for sure. Like in your header, we definitely recommend if you have a LinkedIn profile to put the link in, so they can go and see everything else you may have done. Because a lot of times with mature students, they have like 10, 15 experiences on their resume, which like we don't recommend. We recommend keeping like the most recent and most relevant to what you're going into, and then the rest you can put on your LinkedIn. So,
yeah. Cool.
I think, yeah, another thing is if you're applying like in my industry for a creative job, like a video, you can make a PDF that has clickable links.
Yeah.
So like you can put your video reel right there so they can just click it. Or
I
any
actually never
examples.
thought of doing that before.
Yeah, I think it's better because if you send them like your resume and then like something attached in the email, it just makes it more complicated.
Yeah.
But if it's just one resume with all the links that you can click, then it's
So true.
it just saves them. I feel like anything that saves the
Them
person time.
Yeah, they appreciate,
yeah,
right?
for
Yeah,
sure.
that makes sense. Yeah, I think the last time I applied for like a creative job, I put my demo link in my cover letter, which now that I'm thinking about it, why the heck did I do that? I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense to put on your resume.
I feel like that would also work though.
Yeah.
Because that's the
Yeah.
first thing they read.
Oh, really?
Oh, I
feel like
think
they would
so.
read-
I don't know.
It depends.
Oh, okay.
I think it
Oh,
depends.
okay.
Okay.
But like, it would make sense to read your cover letter first because it's like a
Like,
cover
why are
letter.
you? Yeah. It's like, why are you reading? Why do
Yeah.
you want to be in this job? Let's
Yeah.
forget about your skills. What you bring? Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like they would just skim read it though,
Yeah.
especially
for
if there's a
sure.
lot of resumes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being like a recruiter. Like,
I
would feel like,
Yeah.
I also heard this was like a teacher in high school who told me this. He knew a recruiter, and basically he threw away all the resumes that weren't stapled because he didn't have the time to go through and staple them. So it's another thing.
that's
to keep in
crazy
mind.
because I've always been told to never staple a resume and always use a paperclip.
Yeah. So all the ones that had a paperclip, he threw away.
What?
And the ones that were stapled, he kept, and he went through those.
Okay, well that's why I didn't get jobs in high school. Like there we go. There was my problem. They were
Yeah.
throwing out my resume because it wasn't stapled.
Yeah. Which is like crazy to think.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I've always been told like never staple it. It's a bad idea. Like and never print on both sides.
Yeah. We don't recommend printing on both sides, but like separate pages is good. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's another thing. Every single job that I've applied for in person, I've gotten hired because I like shook the manager's hand. I was like, "Hi, like I'm Tina. I'm a student at da-da-da-da-da, and I
Yeah.
da-da-da-da-da-da. Like I would love to work here." And then
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why like they would give me an interview either there or like they'll call me later that day.
Yeah.
So like it makes a huge difference,
yeah.
right?
Impressions do matter a lot. with
Yeah,
that.
and also making sure you're dressed nice, like
Yep.
no
Yeah.
shorts, no crop tops, dressed like nicely.
Yes. Advising in career services, if you ever want to book an appointment with a CSP, you can always do so on our website with advisors. We also do offer that through our website as well. On there also, you'll be able to find their booking link in their email. So if you don't see any times in their booking link, you can always email them with your concerns and they'll be able to fit you into their schedule.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on our podcast.
Yeah,
thank you
thank
for
you
giving us
for
all this
having me.
information.
And make
Yeah.
sure to check out all our other episodes of the podcast. And thank you for listening.
Yeah.